Pittsburgh Steelers fans, welcome to another quick episode on the Steelers Touchdown Under channel. This is going in our War Room series, and I wanted to bring something a little bit different. And you might have guessed what we're talking about, obviously, by the title, but I heard something very interesting today when I was listening back to the Pat McAfee show. Now, Pat has a number of NFL and other sports guests on, and so it'll be by the time you listen to this, it won't be today. It'll be his previous show yesterday. He spoke with Peyton Manning about Aaron Rodgers and familiarity with the offense of the Jets. But in doing so, he talked about something that's really very much been a topic of discussion among Steelers fans, which is the retention of Matt Canada for a third season. And the Steelers' point of view, and Mike Tomlin's point of view, was that they'd had enough development in the offense and they didn't want to give Kenny a new offensive coordinator having to learn a second offense. Now, even myself, I was a bit cynical about that. And then I heard Peyton Manning and what he said today about Aaron Rodgers, and particularly what he said about rookie quarterbacks. Now, this is really interesting because Peyton Manning is someone that has known in the league for having, in the 16-game era, he has the most interceptions as a rookie with 28. Yet in his second and third year, he was able to get down to only 15 interceptions respectively each year. So in his second and his third year, 15 interceptions each. So really brought that down by 8 interceptions, pretty massive. So he's brought that down by a whole third both years. He then went back up to 23. But I can't speak for the Indianapolis Colts offensive coordinators back when he was in his first 3 years. But it did validate the retention of Canada. But I thought I'll let you guys listen to what he had to say, and we'll thank Pat McAfee for letting us use this one. And this is what he had to say. Now, listen carefully.
That, right? And I think Elway understood that. Like, I'm telling you, the longer you play, the harder it is to unlearn your system, right? Brady, New England, right? Charlie Weiss, McDaniels, O'Brien, it doesn't matter. Same system. Indianapolis with me, Tom Moore, same system, same language. You want to screw a young quarterback up? Change coordinators every year.
3 times.
Just completely screw them up. But, I mean, and so.
There you go. Peyton Manning. You want to screw up a rookie quarterback? Change offensive coordinators. We don't want to do that in Pittsburgh. We want to challenge. We want to keep building. We don't want to refresh. And that's why it's very funny to have Peyton Manning actually validate the decision of Mike Tomlin. Now, that's cool, you might say, Matt. But Canada's offense sucked. Let's be frank, it sucked. And it's very much why Steelers fans over the weekend with the draft are excited about a Broderick Jones and what he can mean to keep Kenny upright, give Kenny time to throw, create running lanes for Najee Harris. It's also why we're really excited by Darnell Washington that can come in at 6'7" and 270 pounds and absolutely block the heck out of people. But if you can get him in open space, good luck any cornerback that has to mark up on him. But that's all good for me to say, particularly for an offense. And it is a hard one for Steelers fans to believe, and I get it. I mean, I've been in this boat. The only thing that's put me at ease so far on it is Mike Tomlin got me like 50% plus of the way there. And Peyton Manning kind of got me over the line there because of that progression that he was able to make in the same offense. And I was talking about even an Aaron Rodgers needs that. Obviously, he's going to the New York Jets and having Nathaniel Hackett, who we had in Green Bay when he had MVP winning seasons. But again, hard pill to swallow when the Steelers were 26 in yards of offense last year, 24th in passing, 32 in pass TDs. The Steelers had 12 pass TDs last year, 16th in rushing and 14th in rushing TDs. It's hard to have confidence in that Canada offense. But you got Mike Tomlin, one of the most winning coaches in football, never had a losing season, regardless of what you think about Cowboys players and Ben and all the other things. Never had a losing season. He managed to do that even with Duck Hodges and Mason Rudolph in 2019. And then you have Peyton Manning, a Hall of Famer. What is it? I think it's two Super Bowls too. A Hall of Famer, statistical leader in the top 10 across almost every passing thing, metric that there is. You got to take confidence in that. But I am really interested more from the passing perspective as well, because I said the Steelers were 24th in terms of passing yardage last year. From a completion percentage, if you look at Pro Football Reference, from a completion percentage, the Steelers were 19th. As we know how low the TDs were. The interceptions, we're only 14th on the list with 14. Wasn't worst in the league. Now, Kenny obviously had the 9 interceptions to 7 TDs, but he had some rushing TDs. So I kind of hate when people bring up that stat because I sort of like, well, hang on, he was really close to the line. Their red zone offense kind of sucked at the start of the year. He was able to push over, and it's about winning games. But yardage, like it's 200 yards per game. That's something that we've got to see elevated. And so these are some of the metrics that I'm hoping get a bit better in 2023, which will be that measuring stick for whether the Steelers have improved. I mean, you look at yards per attempt. Steelers are way, way down the list there in 28. You look at yards per completion or catch. So you got to catch it to complete it. 27th with 10.1. Now, most teams in the league are lower than 11. So like it is contextual a little bit there. But the quarterback rating. Now I know that's a rating that I kind of care less if they're winning, but the Steelers in the 70s for that. We've got to be mid 85s. Mid 85s should be good enough with the rushing offense of this team. Sacks was probably one of the few areas that I thought the Steelers surprised me with last year. We're only allowing 38 sacks. Hopefully Broderick Jones brings this way down. I think Dan Moore allowed 7 sacks off the top of my head. So yeah, really, I heard the piece from Peyton, and I thought, hang on, Steelers fans, if there's still any doubters out there after this draft this weekend, which was an incredible draft, the team got a lot better. Have a little faith. Even Peyton Manning's a fan of what the Steelers chose to do in bringing back Matt Canada. Don't get me wrong, Matt Canada's on the hot seat. I think his press conferences are awful with the media. As someone that works in that field, I think they're abominable. I think they should be changed. The media are not out to get him. He needs to improve. I hated how last year he said he didn't know how to use Calvin Austin. What a ridiculous thing. But I have a little faith because they were able to work Connor Hayward in. I have a little faith because Kenny was able to progress in through the year. I have faith because I actually do believe Tomlin knows what he's doing. And I also have faith, a little bit more faith, now that Peyton Manning, a Hall of Famer quarterback, has completely backed the decision. But yeah, I don't know. A lot of Steel fans may have missed that interview. A lot of us want to tune out when it's Aaron Rodgers. I'm a little bit the same. But I do, the more I've got to listen to Peyton Manning, not only through his career, but post his career, he just seems to continue to share this rich information post-career. You know, you got to listen to the greats. They're greats for a reason. And he contextualized it. And I also don't think Peyton talks himself up. So I like that about him. But Mike Tomlin Steelers have a plan, guys. And, you know, it doesn't work in any of our favors for Canada to have a bad year. We all want Canada to have a good year. And then hopefully Kenny can bring that interception rate down. Now, he's going to play 17 games. Hopefully he can get through all of them. He's going to play in the playoffs. You know, he probably is going to have a 12 to 15 interception season. But if he can get 28 to 30 TDs, and as long as he can keep the ratio above 2-1, this team is going to go far. And I think that they do need to open up the offense. I don't think they can put the shackles on him like they have. But with Allen Robinson, who Patrick Peterson talked about with Bryant McFadden in the last couple of days on their podcast around how much Allen Robinson is going to change his team. Oh, sorry, no, it was with Shazy on football and with Ben Roethlisberger. He talked about the slot and Allen Robinson couldn't play in the slot even when he was fit in LA because of Cooper Kupp, and how that's going to dramatically change his team, particularly because you've got DJ and George Pickens that are more outside guys. You've got Freiermuth in the middle. You now bring in Darnell Washington. I said all last year to Mark on our shows when we're back with the Steel Curtain Network that Najee Harris was not being used in the pass game like he should be, like he was with Ben. That probably had something to do with the fact he had a steel plate in his boot for the first 6 to 8 weeks. All these things change. This team has much bigger possibilities. And then you throw a guy like Calvin Austin into the mix. And they got that guy whose last name's Bird, the wide receiver kick returner coming in as a UDFA. So who knows what he's going to do. But yeah, Steelers fans, looks like Peyton Manning's validated Mike Tomlin and the Steelers' decision to bring back Canada. Guess we've all got to have a little bit more faith. As always, go Steelers.